Hey, welcome into This is a Bet. We're back with another episode here talking about the Texas Tech BYU game. BYU got the win at home, 27-14 against Texas Tech. Um, I thought it was a great game by the Cougars. Second half, maybe a little disappointing. What do you think, Tanner, about this one?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Um, it's one of those wins. It felt kind of like Cincinnati's win, different in a lot of aspects, but it's a win and it's exciting, and I feel great about them. Don't get me wrong. I I'll take a win over a loss any day, no matter how ugly. Um, but when a team turns the ball over 5 times and you didn't really win because they played good, they played just enough to get it done.
Yeah.
But you got to remember that when a team beats themselves leading into this big game against Texas, we'll need to be firing on all cylinders. We can't hope 2 weeks in a row
Yeah.
that the team we're playing beats themselves. But the defense did lead to those turnovers, which is important. It was just, you look at some of the stuff with the offense, and Kalani said it himself. He doesn't like to place blame on any side of the ball, saying they're stagnant in both, and that he even is seeing
Hmm.
stuff that's wrong with the consistency. So but a
Yeah.
win. So
No, yeah, I thought it was a good win. Momentum, I think, was a big part of this game as well because it seemed to shift early. BYU, especially that fumble for a touchdown to go up 21-7, that just seemed like a huge play for the momentum. And yeah, they just kind of carried it and just did enough after that point to just get a couple more field goals. And the defense held up really well. The turnovers were huge as well, 5 turnovers. So I think a lot of that was, Texas Tech's playing a third string quarterback, Jake Strong. And he played okay. He moved the ball at times, had a big play there, but the 3 interceptions was huge. So
yeah,
yeah, but a good win. But now going into Texas, it'll be interesting. But how about that run game though? That's the other
yeah,
point.
right. Really early on, right? It was L.J. Martin breaks out for a.
Like
It was
55
right
yard
from
run.
that
Yeah,
run. I was able to take a deep breath, and then I wasn't worried for the rest of the game. It was interesting. It was like it took some pressure off to see them attack early, and then it just felt like we're going to be in control of this game, which was awesome. So the run game is slowly starting to develop. We still, it wasn't anything crazy, but it was there, which is awesome to see.
yeah. I think how many total yards? 150. Is that right?
Yeah, it was 130 or 100, anywhere between there.
I don't know why I'm thinking 150, but
It
that
may
was
have
yeah,
been.
yeah. It
Was
was
it
exactly
150?
150. Yeah,
Okay.
on the dot. So yeah, LJ Martin broke off that huge run. I felt this the same way. It was like, oh man, they actually got some rushing yards because I think there's been a couple games this year they didn't even get 55, and so they got it in one run there.
Yeah.
So and then we saw in the second half a lot of Aiden Robbins. He looked pretty good. He was running
Yeah. So
through some guys.
were they just playing him more heavily? There was no injury to Martin. I thought like maybe I missed. It was just, and maybe that was to give him LJ Martin a break before the Texas game, not give him, or well, Robbins was doing decent as well, so maybe he was back at full strength, and so they're trying to balance a little more. But so
Yeah, my assumption is that he was feeling really good this week because he'd kind of been injured early on. So my guessing, I just think they wanted to get him some reps, and they felt like the running game was going, so it was a good time to maybe throw Robbins in there and see what he could do. And he was getting some tough yards and grabbing. He's a little bit bigger than L.J. Martin, so I'm really excited for the future if they could both run the ball and kind of have a 1-2 punch. What
yeah,
do you
you
think of
just
that?
yeah, you look at their numbers: 10 carries for LJ Martin for 93 yards, so 9.3 uh, on average, and then Aiden Robbins 16 carries, 49 yards. So we talked about it, how
Yeah,
we
my fault.
said we'd love to see Aiden Robbins step up his game earlier in the season. If we could do a 1-2 punch, with both of them, that would be big. And so it looks like he is getting more healthy, getting himself going. So That would be awesome
Yeah.
to see. Texas will be one that may not let us rush as easy, especially if we're, nothing really did. There's a good question. Did something change, or did Texas Tech or was the difference Texas Tech, or was the
Yeah,
blocking better?
it's a good question. I saw some Texas Tech fans on YouTube and online. They seem pretty disappointed with both their defensive line and offensive line. So maybe that's kind of like the worst they've seen them play, or maybe BYU is just doing things right. It's kind of hard to know sometimes, but if you see a trend for a couple more weeks against Texas and maybe West Virginia, then yeah, it seems like the problem's fixed. But it could just be a one-off. Maybe Texas Tech was just having an off night. They were not great in a lot of areas, so maybe that's what it was. But one area that they were really good at was Taj Brooks, kind of like we were going to predict. Especially early on, he was running really well, and I was getting nervous. I think I
Yeah,
sent you a text that they had like 7 run plays and 1 pass play, and he was just going right down the field. So,
yeah,
what do you
it
think of
was what
Taj
we said.
Brooks?
Yeah, I think
There's
he
some good
could have.
running backs in the conference.
Yeah, I think he could have gutted us more. Right, he only had one
Mm-hmm.
touchdown. He ran for 105 yards, but only averaging 3.4. So good
Yeah,
to see that we actually did. He did break the 100 yards. We said we had to keep him under that to win. He did break it, but on 31 carries. So it wasn't
yeah,
like it was anything major, explosive. So the long was only 18 yards, which is still a big run, but
yeah,
nothing like LJ Martin's 55-yard run that we saw. So
yeah. I think that 4 yards per carry is a good number, and they kept running the ball. I mean, they still ran the ball 31 times, even though they weren't getting much. I think he broke one of those longer runs early on, and then it seemed like the defensive line for BYU stepped up and kind of clogged the holes, and they were getting a little bit of pressure, and so it was just good to see the turnovers, especially, and the defense really stepped up this game. Kind of like we saw early in the season. Kind of reminded me of the Sam Houston game and the you mentioned Cincinnati as well. That's another one that turnovers were key. So
yeah, yep,
what do you?
absolutely.
I guess who was game? We'll do a something new. Who was your MVP for BYU in this game? It could be a coach. It could be a player.
For
Some
this
kind of X
game,
factor.
good
The Y
question.
factor.
I got to give it to just what stood out to me. It's either got to go to Lassiter. Um, that catch was amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That's
we've got
crazy.
two poster catches, one from Chase Roberts earlier in the season, and then Lassiter with his one-handed snag. Uh, go to him. He stood out, averaging 11.8. So only on 4 receptions, 47 yards, or to the run game, either LJ Martin. Just give it to the run department give them some credit that maybe they
Yeah.
did change some stuff that caught Texas Tech off guard that caused them to not play their best. That's where I'd put it, or just to the turnovers. I'm handing out too many awards here, but the
Yeah, one
defense for
MVP,
getting the
Tanner.
turnovers. So uh,
Yeah.
I'll go to if I have to put it down, it'd be the defense. I think they're the reason we did win it because if you look at the offense, 27-14, that's
Yeah.
um,
And
the
one of those
offense
is a
wasn't
defensive
scoring as
touchdown.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the offense would have only put up 21 without the defense getting the touchdown. So the offense struggled, and so I would have to give it to I'd give it to the defense on this one. That would be my MVP for those 5 turnovers. So
Yeah. That's who I was going to give it to. I was going to say Jay Hill, the defensive coordinator. So pretty much the same answer. It seemed like, despite some key injuries on the defense, it seemed like he had a really good game plan for Texas Tech, especially a third string quarterback. We saw the previous week a backup quarterback kind of slashing our defense, and it could be an excuse for Texas Tech, right? Saying, "Oh, of course you guys beat us. We had our third string quarterback in." But it's also a good thing for BYU because they took care of business like they should
yeah,
have, and I think he had a good game plan for them, and the defense played really well. Some guys stepped up, So yeah, it was just a fun game. Uh, I was gonna show this. I had a couple screenshots, but I gotta airdrop it real quick to my computer.
Yeah, no worries.
So, do you have
I
any other
wanted to point
thoughts?
out some stuff. Slova's taking some. I saw some stuff about him. 15 for 27. Uh, not an incredible game. And what worries me, and this may be a dumb worry, is he seems like he does better in the home environment crowd. Um, Kind of worried about Texas, just to see how does he
Yeah,
respond in a hostile environment that's not at home, it's not at night. Because what I always forget is that he was the quarterback at USC, right? When they came in and BYU beat him, right?
hmm,
So how's he going to perform in Texas in the hostile environment? I'd like to go look at his stat record when he's facing, you know, when he's an underdog, when it's because I don't know, it's gonna be a real tough place to play. And Kalani had talked about how they're gonna have to create their own energy, and
yeah.
they thrive off that energy in Provo. What's it gonna be like in Austin, where it's hot,
And
it's
then
a day
then you got
game?
the day game. Yeah, you got this narrative has become really popular. We've talked about it, but
Yes.
so you got a day game. It's going to be a hostile environment. So it's a good question. Can Keaton Slovis step up and be that guy in the big moment?
Yeah.
Texas is going to be on their backup quarterback, so BYU seems to be getting some luck of the draw because Ewers
Yeah.
would, I think, would just kill us. But now I feel like there's a chance that something could
Yeah,
happen.
I did have two stats I wanted to point out really quickly. It was third down conversion. Worrisome going into Texas. We're
Yeah,
120th in the nation at 30%. I always My way of saying how a team can pull an upset, if we were just to say how does BYU do it, you have to be scoring every possession. That's my recipe for an upset. You saw if anyone watching had watched the Arizona State Washington. They had a real chance to beat them, but there were some drives where they didn't put points on the board. An upset has to be just a relentless score, score, score. And so when we're not, when we're only getting a first down 30% of the time on third down, we're not extending those drives. That's going to kill us. And the other one was sacks. Uh, we're down on 117th in the nation with only averaging about 1.2. So not getting the pressure we need. Um,
yeah.
so
Oh yeah, sacks haven't really been there.
those are two things that even in the Texas Tech game um, kind of showed with the offense. So gotta
All right,
gotta
yeah, I got your screenshots now.
right with that. Okay.
Yeah, good thoughts though. I definitely agree. We'll have to do another episode on Texas
Yeah,
because you're gonna be there, right?
I will
So
be there. Which
so
I
you
don't
have the good
know.
luck charm.
When I went to Oregon, the fans were really nice. Everyone's like, "Welcome to Autzen. We're so glad you're here." And then when they
Yeah,
announced that it was like a sellout crowd, they're like, "This is because of you guys bringing the excitement." I don't know about Texas. I haven't talked to anyone that's been there. I just hope it's not where you just walk down the street and everyone. But I don't think it will be. College is different from the NFL in a lot of ways, unless it's a rivalry game. Um,
yeah. The
like
nastiest fans are gonna be Utah fans, or
Yeah, it's always
I feel
like
like, but
Washington, Oregon. It's like you don't want to be wearing purple in Autzen. And
yeah,
that's the same kind of with the NFL, right? The Eagles, Giants, there's the video of the lady like walking down the street and everyone's
yeah.
yelling stuff at them. So college
So
isn't as bad. So I'm not worried that I'm going to get like hit in the head with a beer can. But
no,
I had that
you
happen at
never
a
know if
BYU
things
game.
go
Some guy
wrong.
hit me with a water bottle and it was a BYU fan. So maybe our
Yeah.
own fans are
What's
more
up with
dangerous.
BYU fans that throwing water balls at the
I don't
refs? I
know.
swear that's happened way
I
too
don't know.
much. So hopefully none of that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so let's do these pictures. You sent me a couple, so I have those too. See, I gotta add this. Okay. Can you see that?
Not yet.
Oh, dang. So you can't see this right now?
No, it's just showing your your computer, like the selecting the files.
Dang it. 1 sec. Good thing we have so many subscribers.
Yeah.
I can't judge us. Okay. Yeah, I can't figure this out.
Blame our producer
Anyways.
on the other end putting it together.
Yeah. Yeah, last time I put it into Canva, but I don't have time to do that. So I thought I was just going to be able to do it from my Finder, but it didn't work.
Dang.
Yeah, so there's our thoughts on Texas Tech BYU. Maybe we'll, for the Texas video, we'll show those photos because you had that tattoo one you sent me.
Yeah, some guy had a
They
funny
beat
one
Texas.
that he says it was the Locked On Big 12, and he said if BYU pulled the upset, he'd get a BYU tattoo, and he said there were what did he say? No,
No.
it's actually coming in pretty clear. Where does he say? No terms and conditions need not apply.
Look at this. Oh, man.
That thing is ugly.
Oh, yeah, and then there was this one about Texas speeding.
Oh yeah, I love stuff like this because it's college football at its finest. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Show that again.
Yeah, so it says, what, Texas Tech beat Baylor
by 25. Utah
by
beat Baylor
25.
by 7.
Utah beat Baylor by 7.
BYU beat Texas
BYU beat
Tech by
Texas Tech
13.
by 13.
25 minus 7 plus
Yeah.
13 equals 31. BYU would beat Utah by 31 this season.
Yeah.
Because just
The
in
math
any
makes
league,
sense.
they're 18-year-olds, 19-year-old kids. For BYU, they're 32-year-olds, as people would joke.
Yeah,
Anything can
30-year-olds.
happen. So I just thought that was funny.
No, that was a good one. And then I had a couple. This was I guess this was a Texas one, so we can share this. But it was somebody sharing their 3 keys to BYU's win, so we could talk about that. Oh, did you hear about the Texas Tech player spitting on Tyler Batty? It happened twice.
Yeah, so I saw the first one, and then I kept seeing stuff that was like in the press conference. They said during the handshake, and it was the same guy.
I think it was 2 different guys.
Oh, it was 2 different guys. Okay, I was gonna say if it was
Pretty
the
sure.
same guy, it's like he just didn't
Jeez.
get it enough.
The first guy got ejected.
Yeah. I don't know. Sports get heated, but to the spitting's one that's like it's on another
Makes you
level.
wonder what the whole story is, because it's such an odd thing to just spit at somebody.
Well,
Something
then
would have to happen.
someone posted that it wasn't even the first time. There was another game earlier this season against another team. Texas Tech did the same thing. A player spit on another player. So
Another
I don't
Texas
know.
Tech player?
Uh-huh. That's what I saw on Twitter.
Jeez.
So I don't
They got a
know.
spitting problem.
That's another level to do that.
Yeah.
But wasn't no, it wasn't Batty. Who was the one that threw the shoe?
It was a defensive lineman, but I can't
wasn't
remember.
him. Anyways,
Yeah.
so BYU's done their own share of weird stuff, like throwing a shoe, but the spitting one's just nasty.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
something
The shoe
else.
throw is like kind of funny.
It's funny. It's funny, but it's also like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah,
Which is
penalty.
good because BYU actually on penalties is up there in the top of the nation for
Yeah,
a few.
I think they're 14th
which is
now.
which is a new thing for BYU. Even with if you take away our stupid like ineligible receiver, or the illegal touching, that's what it was. If you took those away, we might be the number one team in the nation for penalties because we took so many of those dumb ones. So
like 6 of them, I swear. So
yeah, it was every game.
The lack of penalties shows pretty good coaching. I think that's a Kalani stat because he has them disciplined. This is the last screenshot I had. It just says, I realize BYU is not great on offense this year, but anybody calling for Aaron Roderick's job they lack perspective. Do you agree with that? Do you think it's ridiculous to say fire A-Rod? I've seen that everywhere.
I think so. What's frustrating is that, and I've had to take a step back and look at it the exact same way. If you had told me at the beginning of the year that we would be halfway through and 5 wins away from being 10-2, right? Let's say we clean shop, which is would be
A
remarkable.
miracle run.
But let's
Yeah,
just put it out there just for the
it's
sake
possible.
of saying it. 10 and
Yeah.
2? That's ridiculous. If you had even told me we were guaranteed 5 wins with 5 games to play with the beginning of the season, and what people some fans keep forgetting is that we would have given anything at the beginning of the year. There were lots of, we were projected so much lower. The wins
Yeah.
was just at 5. We've got the ability to do something. On BYU Sports Nation, they were talking about like how good 7 wins would feel. So
Oh,
it's
I
like
think we
people,
both had them at 5. So
yeah,
at
people
this
just
point,
have
it's like
lost.
just bonus wins.
The people that are like fire A Rod, play Finnegan. Um, it's like you forget that we've won 5 games. You like if we were if we hadn't won anything, fire the whole coaching squad, But like we've won too many games and we've done too many like good things that you
Hmm.
can't just say get rid of them. Especially in a BYU program. If we were in the SEC, they've got no mercy for coaches, right? You have to build your legacy. If you don't have the legacy,
I think.
even if you do have a
Speaking
legacy,
of, I
Gus
think
Malzahn got
Arkansas's offensive
fired.
coordinator. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So it's like we got to show and I've been guilty in the past of being one of those fans that's like get rid of them, but not this year. Not this year. What I've seen done, there's so much potential to even be better next year. If we figure out and tweak some stuff, Kalani said in his media day just recently, we're winning games like without the offense or
hmm
without the defense some games. We're finding ways to win even when we shouldn't be winning. And that's good to hear. That there's some sort of leadership, some sort of mojo where the team is able to get it done when they shouldn't be. And so,
yeah, they
got to
got each
respect
other's
that.
backs.
Yeah.
No, speaking of people who I've wanted fired from BYU, Dave Rose was one of them. I thought he just got too. I don't know. Nothing was really changing. Another one was last year's defense coordinator, Taki. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was a good win though, and I think you gotta be happy with 5-2. So
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
calling for A Rod's job, it's just stupid.
Yeah. Did you show it? Or maybe I saw it myself. Someone was saying that, like, their 5-year-old cousin could, on Madden, does better than Aaron Roderick at calling plays. And I'm just,
And I was listening to the interview today with on Locked On with Connor Pay, and he kind of defended A Rod a bit, and he was like, "It's us not executing the plays is why they don't go right. It's not the play call." So maybe that's just a player taking the responsibility, but I think there is a truth to that the players got to run the play right for it to work. So
yeah.
it's not always just a play call. If the play call
Yeah.
works, everybody loves it. The second it doesn't work, everybody hates it.
Everybody
Right?
hates it.
If
Yeah.
you get
It's a,
a 15-yard run on second down and it goes really well, everybody cheers. But if you run on second down and long and then you get 0 yards, everybody's pissed. So
everyone's pissed. Throw the ball.
there
Throw
was,
the ball.
yeah, throw the ball.
That's a Lavelle Edwards classic. You always hear that these days. Throw the dang ball.
Well, it's been a BYU theme where it does feel like every first down they run it. At least that used to be. I don't think that's as much, but with
No,
Grimes
not as much.
especially,
Yeah.
it was.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, just stop running on first down. And all the people, throw it, throw it. Oh man.
Oh, it's great.
We got to go to we got to go to the Iowa State game.
That'd be
We can
awesome.
participate. Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, congrats BYU, and we'll talk more about Texas on that preview. But if you watch this far, subscribe. We're gaining subscribers slowly. So, and then comment what you thought of the game, and then watch our Texas one and tell us what you think is going to happen this week. Anything else, Tanner?
No, that's it. Go Cougars.
Go Cougs.